Hello everyone, I'm Rob the Robot from the Adobe Education team, and I would like to welcome you to the Inject Creativity Live Show. This is an online show for educators interested in digital creativity. This show is live on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, as well as other social media, and past recordings can be viewed via bit.ly/Adobe-Inject. Any teacher, whether an Adobe user or not, in any K-12 or higher education sector and any subject area is welcome. Here are your hosts, Dr. Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to the Inject Creativity Live Show, the online show that celebrates digital creativity in all areas of education. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, Tim, and a special welcome to everyone who's joined us live on Wednesday, the 25th of August, 2021, via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, as well as the Australasian Adobe in Education Facebook group. We encourage you to say hi in the chat and let us know where you're from and where you teach.
While you're in the chat sharing a bit about yourself, we'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. We respect and honour Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders past, present and future, as well as all Indigenous people from the lands we reach out to during this event.
We acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We acknowledge them as the first peoples in our lands, the first scientists and the first creatives, and we commit to building a brighter future together.
During this episode, we'll be welcoming special guest and Adobe Education leader from Victoria, Joel Ahrens. He will again be inspiring us.
We have a special tribute to Sir Ken Robinson, who passed away just over 12 months ago.
We'll be promoting the APAC Adobe Education Summit that is planned for the September school holidays, as well as a number of other Adobe and education related resources that you can share with your students and your colleagues.
We check out the new look Adobe Education Exchange.
We promote Adobe Max.
And our behind-the-scenes guru, Adobe Customer Success Manager Jerry Wong, will have a special quiz question for us.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Thanks, Rob. Now let's welcome our good friend and the Inject Creativity Live moderator and techie whiz, Jerry Wong. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'll be looking out for your comments and questions in the chat and posting the most relevant ones. To encourage you to use the live chat, I have an Adobe-related quiz question for you. Name Adobe's largest conference event each year.
Oh, good question, Jerry. Let's just bring that up on the ticker and just check our comment section here and say hello to a few people. We've got Roland from the Philippines who's joined us. He's saying hello, Tim, Erin, Jerry, and Joel. Hope you're safe. Here to have a vaccine of Inject Creativity. I like it. Well done. And speaking of Roland, he's the first one to also give us the correct answer. Oh, that deserves a round of applause. Well done, Roland.
Beat out Ben by seconds, but well done both.
Well done, Ben, as well. Let's see what Ben's got the right answer as well. Thank you, Ben. Well done. Let's give him a round of applause as well. Well done. It was a pretty easy one, wasn't it, this time? It's going to be a fantastic event. Really looking forward to Adobe Max. It's going to be amazing because it's actually an event that usually attracts around about 20,000 people in one location, normally in Los Angeles too. Jerry's been there a couple of times. I've only had the privilege of going there once myself, but it's an incredible event. But as of last year, over 5 million registered because it's now a virtual event and will be again this year. So I want you to look up max.adobe.com to find out more.
So being a virtual event, there is nothing stopping you all registering and getting involved in the 2021 Adobe Max, which will be held on October 28 and 29, those are the Asia Pacific dates, as a truly international event covering all major time zones.
Adobe Max is when Adobe announces new products and new features to current products, as well as a very popular sneaks segment where they reveal potential new products and potential new features.
This year, we'll have a strong Asia-Pacific connection where our very own Juliet Bentley, Craig Delmeyer Power, and Dr. Tim Kitchen will all be presenting for the first time, as well as Sarah Madison, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor at Swinburne University.
Juliet will be sharing a session titled Fostering Digital Literacy in the K-12 Creative Classroom. And Craig and I will be collaborating with Adobe Education Leader and Adobe Master Teacher Lisa Gottfried from New Technology High School in California. We'll be doing a session titled Giving Students a Voice with Character Animator. And Professor Sarah Madison will be presenting the topic Transforming Education with Creative and Digital Skills.
Go to max.adobe.com to register so that you don't miss out on this essential annual digital creativity conference.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Let's welcome Joel to the show. Hi, Joel. For those who haven't met you before, tell us a bit about what you currently do as a teacher.
Sure. Well, I am the STEM and Media Arts teacher at Camberwell South Primary School, which is a medium-sized primary school in Melbourne, Australia.
I've been to your school, Joel. I've been to your school and so impressed with your students and the creativity that happens from your school. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, it's an amazing place with amazing kids and staff, and I have, the perfect job. I get to play with Lego, I get to play with Minecraft, and I get to do a lot of media with the kids, and it's really exciting. I love doing it.
Oh, gorgeous. Now, can you tell us something, Joel, that's interesting about yourself that not many people would know about?
Oh, how about before I was a teacher, I used to run a record store. It was a record store, and then it was a music store, then it was a music and video store. And so I did that for a few years, hired all my friends. I was in my early 20s. We basically ran it into the ground because we would only play the music that we liked. And that was the end of my retail experience.
Oh, dear.
Joel, when you say a record store, you mean one of those sort of round black discs with a hole in it?
Yeah, we did have those. But, I mean, most of the time I was there, it was CDs and the records were being phased out. But, yes, we did have records. They've been making a big comeback these days.
They are.
Yes. Out. Yeah.
I wonder if CDs are going to come back in the same way, because it's a very distinctive clickety-clackety sound of people fingering through all of the different CD racks. Records are much quieter.
But like when I was listening to an interview with a musician recently, and he said the biggest difference with music these days is the physical media. We don't have the physical media. You don't have that thing in your hand where you're poring over the linear notes and you're looking through the photography, and it's like something precious in your hand. Now it's something on a screen and you don't even pay attention.
Not to mention the art of the sleeves that they used to design as well. I think they probably still do, but they just don't have the same audience they used to.
No, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Joel, tell us what you'll be sharing with us during this episode.
Right. Well, I am going to be focusing on a really cool app called Photoshop Mix. And this is an app that takes one of the uses of Photoshop, which is compositing and masking and selecting and creating artwork with it, in a really easy to use app that has the power of Photoshop, but contained within a free to use app that I've been using with my grade 4 students.
Excellent.
So, Joel, let's just have a look at some of the work you're doing with your students as featured at the recent Adobe seminar session, EduTech.
My favorite Adobe apps to use personally are Photoshop and Premiere Pro, which is the high-end video editing program. When I teach mainly with Photoshop and Adobe Premiere Rush, which is an easier but still very powerful editing program. I've also been starting this year to try out Adobe XD with my Year 6 students. Here are some examples of what my Year 4 students have been doing in Photoshop. That's right, 10-year-olds learning about compositing, selecting and masking within Photoshop.
Wow, very, very cool. Looking forward to that. Now, you may have already noticed that Joel is a member of the AEL community, the Adobe Education Leaders community. This is the highest level of Adobe's education community programs. And it's a very exclusive program with only 64 teachers qualifying in the Australasian region.
Adobe education leaders are active members of the Adobe Education Exchange and are very passionate about using Adobe applications to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity skills in schools and universities.
They regularly share this passion with a network of educators wider than their own school or faculty, and help support the work of the Adobe and education teams around the globe.
If you're interested in becoming an AEL, the first step is to do the Adobe Creative Educator program and get your ACE Level 1 and 2 badges at adobe.ly/ACE.
When you've been part of the ACE program and shown that you are part of a wider network of educators, you could be in line to be nominated to be an AEL.
It's well worth the effort if you're keen to be inspired by an international network of creative educators, connect directly with and support the Adobe education team, and run professional learning for your network with free Adobe software and merch.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Erin, have you noticed the new look of the Adobe Education Exchange?
It's very dynamic.
Let's take a quick tour. We're on it live now, and sort of scroll through, you can see it's quite a different look and feel. And what you may not notice, but I've discovered this myself and also heard about it over the last few months, that the team that managed the Adobe Education Exchange have been working extensively at the back end to make this an incredibly more interesting and more effective and efficient searching tool. So if you want to find something, it should be a lot easier now with the new version than it was with the older version.
That's fantastic, because obviously as the library grows and we all tag things and add descriptions and things, the bigger the library, the more important it is to have a really good search engine so that we can find what we're after.
You can see that the distance learning section is now on the front page. You just scroll down a little bit and you can see all the distance learning resources, which are just so vital for so many schools at the moment. Even here in Australia, all of New South Wales, all of Victoria are currently in lockdown. So this is some really vital resources for them. And then we've got our professional learning tools for higher ed and so on. If we scroll back up to the top, you can see our main drop-down menu. You've got teaching resources, which is what it defaults to, but then you've got your professional learning section. And when you click on that, you can go straight to the self-paced courses, which is pretty cool. And then you've got your professional learning kits and subscribe. But of course, that's the search engine that's amazing now. If I jump into a teaching resource and look at, say, digital media and art, speaking of Joel, being a media arts teacher, and click on one of those resources as it comes up, you'll notice that the search is now on the side. Rather than having to drop down and try to find what I'm looking for, I can start isolating down from different types of resources, different subject areas, different products that we're focusing on, age levels, and active student time. That's interesting. That's a new feature which I haven't explored myself.
Oh, yeah.
And that just helps you refine your searches in a better way. So I'm really looking forward to exploring this a little bit more, but I thought it'd be good to let you guys know because it only just launched the latest version about a week ago. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing, Tim.
My pleasure.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Erin, the 2021 APAC Adobe Education Summit is being held as an online event again on Wednesday, the 29th of September.
This event is open to any educator in any sector, level, and curriculum area.
It's going to be a wonderful event involving presentations and news from the global Adobe education team, classroom success stories, and inspiration from local Adobe education leaders, and lots more.
It is a free event, and you can register your interest to be involved at adobe.ly/edu-summit21.
Please share this link with your colleagues and wider education networks and keep that day free. It is a school holiday period for most of you.
If you're a member of the Adobe Education Leader community, there is a special day just for you the day prior on Tuesday, the 28th of September.
And if you're an Adobe Creative Educator or have at least enrolled in level 1 of the ACE program, there is a Creative Challenge Day for you and the AELs on Thursday, the 30th of September. More information about these extra days has already been sent to you, and if you register, more will be sent to you.
Register now for the summit and we will provide more details about the agenda in future episodes of the show. Let's find out who'll be going to the summit this year.
Come join the passion, productivity, people and pizzazz at this year's APAC Adobe Education Summit.
Look who's coming to the APAC Adobe Education Summit.
Hi, I'll be involved in the Adobe Education Summit this year because I love hanging out with creative educators who fill me with great ideas.
It's such an amazing place to learn, and then I can share this knowledge with my students.
It's a fantastic opportunity to connect, network and share ideas with like-minded creative educators.
Hi, I'm Erin Raethke, Adobe Education Leader with TAFE Queensland, and I'll be at 2021's Adobe Education Summit.
I'll be involved in the 2021 Adobe Education Summit because I love being among the first to learn about Adobe's latest creative tools.
I'm passionate about creativity and innovation in education.
Adobe tools help me and my students to be imaginative, creative, and innovative.
I'll be involved in the 2021 Adobe Education Summit because it's a great way to engage with other creative educators.
Hey everyone, it's Michael from Sydney and I'll see you at the APAC Adobe Education Summit.
I love being inspired by teachers who use Adobe products, and I love to find out the latest about the apps.
It's a great way for me to connect and learn from creative educators right across Australia.
I'm going for the practical, fun, challenging and creative experiences and to meet up with Adobe educator mates of old and new to get that injection of creativity without the need for a needle or a mask.
I'll be involved in the Adobe Summit because I love seeing what other educators are doing and then being inspired to do the same.
Adobe tools help my students and I be creative.
I'm looking forward to seeing what other people around the world are doing with Adobe tools. I'm looking forward to learning new things so that I can use them in class with my students.
Hi, I'll be coming to the Adobe Education Summit because it's a great way to meet other creative educators around the world in your own home and see what they're doing with their students. It's always inspiring. I love it.
G'day everybody, Brett Salakis here, getting ready for the APAC Adobe Education Summit.
It's an excellent way to be inspired by creative educators.
Adobe Education Summit is an awesome way to learn best practices from fellow like-minded educators in injecting creativity in the classroom.
Well, thank you to all the Adobe education leaders who contributed to that clip. I've been getting some great video clips from AELs recently.
Here's what Ali Blackwell from Western Australia shared about how she uses Adobe tools to inspire creativity at Churchland Senior High School.
My favourite Adobe tools are Illustrator and Photoshop because students love being able to manipulate and play in two very different formats and different ways. Photoshop allows them to merge realistic images in ways and gives them control of a different version of reality, whereas Illustrator allows them really high quality vector graphics that are useful in so many different scenarios.
Thank you, Ali. The August edition of the Australasian Adobe in Education Update started going out to those who have subscribed this week. It's available via bit.ly/adobe-edu-org21.
If you didn't get a copy, make sure you opt in via adobe.ly/contact-edu-APAC. Here is Dr. Kitchen's video summary of the August newsletter.
And welcome to the August 2021 edition of the Australasian Adobe in Education Update, available in full via bit.ly/adobe-edu-org21. In this newsletter, we encourage teachers to register for the APAC Adobe Education Summit, coming up during the school holidays on September 29. If you haven't already, you can register via adobe.ly/edu-summit21. We encourage anyone who hasn't joined the Adobe Creative Educator program to do so as soon as possible so that they can be part of the Creative Challenge Day that is part of the coming Summit event. In this newsletter, we let everyone know that registrations are now open for Adobe Max 2021. Free and virtual again 2 years in a row. Find out more via max.adobe.com. We celebrate Adobe's latest partnership with the amazing Billie Eilish. We celebrate the results of a recent Adobe Creativity Challenge by a group of very talented New South Wales students who are in lockdown. We share Adobe's seminar at the recent EduTech Conference, and we also share lots of new resources and classroom ideas from a new look Adobe Education Exchange. Please do contact us via adobe.ly/contact-edu-APAC if you would like some specific support for your school. Enjoy this August 2021 update, and don't forget to keep being creative. Erin, I got to work with some students last week, which was pretty exciting. About 200 New South Wales students from 18 schools registered for an Adobe Creativity Challenge that involved working with a team whilst in lockdown to make a 1-minute video clip that promotes one of the 17 United Nations Sustainability Development Goals.
So about 30 clips were submitted highlighting the amazing problem-solving, video editing and creativity skills of the students involved.
I posted about this event and included a number of the students' clips. This can be found via bit.ly/challenge-nsw-org21.
Hi folks, we are about to be inspired by an AEL, an Adobe Education Leader. AELs are passionate about the use of Adobe tools to inspire creative learning and teaching experiences in the delivery of either primary, secondary or post-secondary curricula. The first step to becoming an AEL is to be an ACE, an Adobe Creative Educator, via edx.adobe.com/adobe-creative-educator. You don't have to be an Adobe expert to be an ACE, just a teacher interested in engaging students through creative digital learning experiences. The ACE program is a free international micro-credentialing program. It only takes a few hours to earn your Level 1 badge, and the focus is on creativity rather than Adobe. Please share this program with your colleagues and get involved. Who knows, you may one day also become an Adobe Education Leader.
And it's a delight to welcome Adobe Education Leader Joel Ahrens to join us. Over to you, Joel.
Hey everyone, how are we all doing? Good to see everyone. Okay, so I am going to be talking about Photoshop Mix. I am going to be demonstrating what my kids have been doing in class. And one of the things that's interesting is when I meet other teachers, and especially other teachers who are interested in Adobe products, they can't believe that primary school students can do what they do. And it's really just about showing them the tools and showing them some basic techniques and really tapping into their imagination. And that's what today's little talk is about. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background first. So Media Arts at my school at Camberwell South, I do a dual role. I do a STEM and I also do Media Arts, which for various reasons is separate, but I teach both of them. Media Arts I teach in years 3 to 6. Each year level does one term of Media Arts. This term it happens to be the grade 5s, that's what I've got right now. It's not a specialist subject, which means the teachers actually come in like it's an incursion. They come in with their kids, they don't have planning time, and they help support me, but more importantly, they actually get to learn along with the kids. And I've had so many teachers just really getting excited about how my classes have really upped their photography game and things like that, which is really lovely to hear. So years 3 to 4, I concentrate on photography, and years 5 and 6, I concentrate on film production. And the first year of that unit, so year 3 and year 5, we sort of do an introduction, and the second year is more consolidation of their skills. So Year 3, what does photography look like in Camberwell South? Year 3, we really talk about the basics of photography. We do a lot of photo walks. I give them some simple lessons around framing photos, rule of thirds, macro photography, panoramas, really trying to get the kids to understand that whilst it's easy to take photos, I mean, you press a button, you take a photo, it's not hard, but it's making a photo good, framing it, making creative decisions that makes all the difference. And then in year 4, now that they've got that background, to consolidate those skills, we do some photo manipulation. Some examples of projects we do are things like black and white portraiture, digital double exposures, and what I'm showing you now, which is Photoshop composites. Okay, so in year 4, Photoshop Mix is what I use to teach selection, masking, blending, and compositing. If you're familiar with Adobe tools, these terms are probably quite familiar to you, but a lot of you, it might not be. And certainly these kids who are, 8, 9 years old, it's the first time they have learned about it. So why do I use Photoshop Mix? Well, first of all, it's easy to use, it's intuitive for new users, and it's not overloaded with features. It's a free app with an Adobe ID, so it doesn't cost any money. And it has a really good mix of autonomic features as well as some powerful manual features as well. And I'm going to show you some examples and talk through them, and then I'm just going to give you a very quick rundown on how the app works. So first of all compositions like this start with an idea. And I say to the kids, what is something fantastical? I don't even know if that's a word. I just say fantastical. What is something fantastical that you can't achieve in camera? Something that requires manipulation. So not like you're sitting inside a tree, because you could take a photo of you in a tree and that's not hard to do. Something more along the lines of doing a handstand on top of the office building, right? Or flying in the air or doing something like that. And in this case, of course, you can see this girl here is sitting on a flower in our garden. It's a great way to introduce students to the way that Photoshop, and that's either Photoshop proper or Photoshop Mix, works by layers upon layers. And that's really a fundamental understanding that kids need to have. You have a background layer, you have layers on top of that. Those layers can be blended. You can cut out, you can manipulate all sorts of things. What I actually do, and I don't have a visual to show you, but I actually have sort of laminated sheets where there's a background photo laminated, and on top of that I will put some text that's just by itself. That's the whole sheet's been laminated. That goes on top of the photo, and then something else goes on top of that, just to show them how layers work in Photoshop. And so when we're planning these projects, I get the kids to sort of meet in their little groups and to consider what photos do we need for this. In this particular example, they had this idea with the scissors, so they need a background photo of someone holding the scissors, and they need someone, holding the scissors up. So that was their idea. So something like this, they have to think of what's the background layer. The background layer is the thing that doesn't change. In this case, it's a paper aeroplane on the ground. And the foreground photos are the ones that you need to cut out and manipulate. In this case, the kids. And this one particular one's actually really well done, especially the boy that's inside the plane, because he had his arms, I think, around a chair or something like that to get his arms in the sort of right position so he could cut all of that out so it would look the way that they wanted it to look. And I think it came out really well. Now, images can not only be cut out, but they can be scaled, they can be rotated, flipped, and in this case, even made transparent. This was a great idea by one of our students of thinking of what if she just collapsed and died and then her ghost came out to haunt the school, which I thought was really cute. And also, acting is often required in these shots, which makes it even more engaging for students. Here, a look of fear or a hungry mouth all need to be considered, staged, practiced, and shot. The kids get enormous engagement out of this. They have so much fun doing it. It's really exciting to teach because all I do is show them how to use the app. I show them how to do the cutting out, like I'm going to show you in a minute, but it's from them that the creativity comes. And when you're tapping into kids at this age, their creativity doesn't have any bounds. They're not too old that they have a sort of cynical out view sort of cynical view of life. They really think that anything's possible, and so they should. And it's really tapping into that. This particular shot, we can see this is actually two pictures. It's the main foreground picture of the girl at the front, and then it's the same picture that's been doubled and then flipped horizontally, one representing an angel and one representing the devil, I guess, sort of whispering in her ear and asking her to make the choice she needs to make. Really great idea from them. Ideas did not come from me. It's just brilliant. This photo is a good example of how some composites are actually multiple images, not just the two. So here there were two girls who were sitting on a bench, and the bench and the background were erased. Then they took a photo of a leaf that was in the garden. They had to select that and mask away the background. And then finally we had the main photo, the photo of the girl blowing the leaf, and they just put that all together. And as I remember this particular one, the girls went so far as to actually sketch their idea, so they had a pretty good idea of how they wanted to look at the end of it. And then lastly, I wanted to point out that adults love it too. And here is an example of one of our grade 4 teachers who really got on board with the project and had a lot of fun with it, and the kids really enjoyed it. Plus, he went to the extra detail of adding a little bit of shadow there behind his picture, so it actually looked a bit more realistic, like he really was sitting there. So there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump to... Oh, it's gone. I'll bring it back. Quickly jump to my iPad, and I'll show you a very brief demonstration of how this works. And what I have got prepared is a couple of, let's see, a couple of pictures here, brand new pictures from today, which are, which will be from Book Week. Oh, and by the way, before I even start, here's a couple of pictures that my daughter's been playing with. She also happens to be in grade 4, just coincidentally, but this is what she does in lockdown when she's bored. She makes these funny little pictures. I'm going to press plus to get started, and I'm going to choose image. And I always tell the kids the first image you use is your background image, the image that doesn't change. So I'm going to just tap on one of my folders on my iPad here. I'm actually going to do it this way because my photos are portrait. And I've got a photo here of Hobbittown. And I've got this here because my daughter actually dressed up for Book Week this week, and she dressed up as a hobbit because that's what she's reading. So to add that picture, I'm going to press plus on the side here. Choose an image. I'm going to add an image layer, choose the image that I want like this. It's asking me to resize it because the images are a different resolution. I'm going to press cancel, even though it does look a little bit, the resolution is not great, but just as an example, that's what I'm going to do. So I've got one image on top of another. So I'm going to press cut out at the bottom. That's what I want to do. And I've got a couple of options here. First of all, I've got a smart brush and I've got a basic brush. And a smart brush does what it says. It's Photoshop's way of trying to work out where the edges are and work out where you want to cut. The basic brush is almost like an eraser. It does the exact pixels where your finger or your stylus is going to be. I always tell the kids, always start with the basic, with the smart brush, and then you can clean it up with the more precise basic brush afterwards. So I'm starting with a basic brush, and then, and this depends on the picture, but you sort of have to make a decision about whether you want to use the addition brush or the subtraction brush, which means, are we going to paint an area that we want to keep, that we want to add, or are we going to paint away the background that we want to subtract? Now, in this case, because there's quite a bit of background, I think it's more sensible to use the addition, so I'm going to keep it at that. And then with my stylus, I start painting here. I start brushing with my finger, and I'm just going over the area where she is, and I'm just doing this very roughly, deliberately going over the corners and the edges because I want to do some cleanup, but just making sure that I do have all of her there. There we go, that looks pretty good. Now, if the background layer is getting in the way, you can turn that off. At the top, there is sort of 3 squares together. That's my layers symbol, but I can take that and I can erase that. So now I can use my subtraction brush and I can zoom in a little bit and then just carefully go over here and try and get as much of that brickwork away as possible. Now, there's little bits like between her hands and between her legs there that's going to be too hard to do with this particular brush. So I'm just doing what I can right now. And the app does a pretty good job of getting rid of all those bits and trying to work out exactly where the edges are. Now, you can see right there, I've accidentally given her a bit of a haircut. But the great thing about this app is it's non-destructive. In other words, even though I have taken that away, I haven't actually erased any pixels. I have just masked away that spot. So I can now switch back to Edition and I can bring that back and it's no problem because they haven't gone anywhere. There's a little bit here with the hair as well. Curly hair is always a bit of a problem, so I think that's probably better with a basic brush. There's also some bits here. If I zoom in, my brush becomes a bit smaller and easier to use in these particular areas. I think I'll leave it like that to get started. Good. And I will switch the basic brush. For me, I'm just going to make the brush hard, but it also has a feathered soft approach as well that you could use. You push the size up or down depending on how big you want the brush, and then you come right in and you do all your fine tuning. So like I say, I always tell the students, start off with a smart brush, see how far it gets you, and then do the fine tuning and really take your time to really try and get rid of the background, because that's the way you sell the picture. That's the way that you show the visual effect working. If they can't tell where it's come from, you know you've done a good job. So I really tell them to take their time with this, unlike I'm doing here because I'm trying to be quick. But just giving it a pretty good go. And yes, I know it looks very fuzzy when you zoom it in this far, but that's okay because when we get it to normal size, it'll be just fine. All right, I think I have done a fair bit there, a little bit here by the legs. Yep, I've cut off a little bit of legs, but that's okay for now. See how that goes. All right, I'm liking that. We'll press the tick button there, and now we can see she's there. So I'm just going to move her over here. And maybe what I will do is I will go back to cutout, because she's in front of the gate and I want it to look like she's behind it. I might just press cutout. I'll bring the layers back. Again, I'm using a basic brush and my subtraction brush, and I'm just going to rub out the areas where the gate is, so that, as I say, it looks like that she's actually standing behind there. And if I was being really particular, I might actually keep the area that's in between the gate if I was doing this properly, something like that. I don't know how good that looks. I'd have to spend some time and think about it more, but you get the idea. You can see her legs sort of in between there. Rub out a bit there, rub out a bit there. I actually think that doesn't look too bad, especially when you bring it down a bit like that. And I'll press tick, and there we go. I'll just zoom it back out a bit. And there we go. That's my daughter dressed up as a hobbit in Hobbitown. So that's just an example of what you can do with Photoshop Mix. I'm told that the app Photoshop Express is going to bring elements of Photoshop Mix and another app, Photoshop Fix, and bring that into the one app, and that's coming down the pipe. So, so similar ways of working just within another app, I think, is going to happen pretty soon. So that's my presentation. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Joel, that was fantastic. Let's just bring Erin back on the screen. What do you think, Erin? I
just had like a little bit of a hissy fit when you said she went into Book Week as a hobbit. She's gorgeous.
Yes.
The curly hair is perfect. It's just, oh, yes.
She wouldn't go as far as having hairy feet, though. We tried.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. As someone, I can understand when, that's fair enough.
Joel, so many great comments from the audience that you might want to have a look back at later and look at the recording, because it's great comments from a lot of people from around the world who are watching that presentation and seeing how practical it can be in their classroom. So thank you so much for your help and your research. Erin, did you want to share something?
Can I just ask one more time, can we just have that full screen again just to see the final effect? Because you were talking and the image went a little bit smaller, and I'd just love to see the full effect of that. That is so gorgeous. Thank you so much, Joel.
That's all right.
Great.
Very, very cool. Nice work, Joel. Thank you so much for your help with that tonight.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
To all Queensland educators, attention, all Queensland educators. Adobe is again involved in the QASITE Conference to be held on the 21st and the 22nd of September in Toowoomba.
QASITE stands for Queensland Society for Information Technology and Education, and the conference will be taking place at Toowoomba State High School, and Dr. Kitchen will be one of the keynote speakers and workshop presenters. Find out more and register at qsite.edu.au.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Erin, we have about 30,000 teachers who have enrolled in at least level 1 of the Adobe Creative Educator program. Please do promote this program with your colleagues via adobe.ly/ACE. The focus of this program is not about Adobe skills, but understanding the importance of creativity in education.
If you'd like to be guided through Level 1, Dr. Kitchen is running the next Be a Creative Educator course on Monday the 30th of August, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. More information can be found via our new short URL for this site, adobe.ly/creative educator.
Here are some members of the program sharing why they think you should be involved.
You should join the Adobe Creative Educator program. You'll learn more and more about why creativity is such an important skill to teach our students.
You should join the Adobe Creative Educator program because it's such an amazing community of inspiring educators where everyone shares what they learn and the tips and tricks they learn with using Adobe products, but we also learn from each other as well. It's a really supportive group of people.
Because it's a great way for educators to stay connected with creative industries.
If you're not an Adobe Creative Educator yet, why not? It's time to get there. Great place to meet like-minded teachers, share resources, and get some great inspiration of other very creative individuals.
You should be an Adobe Creative Educator because it opens up a universe of ideas, resources, and access to amazing and inspirational professionals whose ideas and application and philosophies are incredibly inspirational and have helped me improve my practice, and I bet they'll do the same for you.
You should join the Adobe Creative Educator program because we need to do more than just talk about how important creativity is. We need to actually do it.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Last week, Erin, was EduTech, the largest education and technology conference in this region of the world with over 10,000 registrations.
Dr. Kitchen, Rob the Robot, and over 20 Adobe education leaders were involved in the Adobe seminar session. You can watch the whole of the pre-recorded session in the August update newsletter. Part of the seminar featured a tribute to Sir Ken Robinson.
Last Saturday was the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Sir Ken Robinson.
Sir Ken was an internationally renowned and highly respected thought leader on the topic of education reform and the importance of creativity in education.
On the 26th of August 2020, almost 1 year to the day that we're recording this session, we recorded a special episode of this show as a tribute to Sir Ken.
That tribute show is archived on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, as well as the past recordings section of the Inject Creativity Live site. Go to adobe.ly/Inject Creativity Live.
Our thought leadership segment for tonight includes part of the Adobe seminar at EduTech.
Here is Dr. Kitchen and Rob the Robot.
Hope this works.
Career, isn't it?
Oh,
now, Dr. Kitchen, this is a special year for you in your education career, isn't it?
That's right, Rob. 2021 is my 30th year as an educator. And within those years, I've had the pleasure of teaching primary, secondary, as well as higher education. And I've been in this role with Adobe now for just over 8 years. When I was a classroom teacher, I didn't really comprehend how vital creativity was as a skill to be encouraged and fostered. I knew creativity was important, and I prided myself on being a creative in the way that I taught, and I gave students lots of opportunities to be creative in the way that they presented and in the way that they constructed their learning. Very early in my teaching career, I saw a strong link between creativity and engagement. And I wanted all my students to be engaged and feel a sense of creative agency in the learning process. Over the past 8 years while at Adobe, I've met and worked with some incredibly creative educators from all over the globe who are primary teachers, secondary teachers, TAFE teachers, and even university professors in a wide variety of curriculum and faculty areas. And I have read multiple studies and been directly involved in research that is focused on the importance of creativity in education.
Dr. Kitchen even met Sir Ken Robinson.
That's right, Rob. I have even met the amazing Sir Ken Robinson on 3 occasions and was looking forward very much to working with him last year at the Adobe Max Conference, where he was booked in to be a keynote speaker for our education track. But sadly, he passed away suddenly prior to that event. In fact, this week is the 1st year anniversary of his passing, and I'd like to take this opportunity to recommend that you all do yourself a favour and listen to the first of a number of TED Talks that Sir Ken has done. Now, this one is titled, "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" It continues to be the most watched TED Talk ever in the history of TED Talks. And when I first watched it, it made a huge impression on me as a teacher. I've embedded this into the Spark page for this seminar. I've read all of Sir Ken's books. I've watched him present on many occasions. I've been involved in a number of research studies, and I remain more convinced than ever that as educators, we need to foster creativity as a skill in all areas of the curriculum, because it's one of the most important skills for our students to thrive in the future. The World Economic Forum have sponsored a number of studies over the past 20 years aimed at understanding the most important skills for people to thrive in the future workplace. Consistently, within the top 10 sets of skills are coordinating with others, collaboration, people management, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. In a 2019 study between the World Economic Forum and Microsoft's LinkedIn, creativity came out as the most important of all the soft skills for job seekers to display when looking for employment. During 2020, Adobe linked with Fathom, a company that was set up to predict the effect of emerging technologies on the future of the workplace. We conducted a study titled Introducing the Reskilling Revolution. This was motivated by the fact that there has been a dramatic increase in digital transformation throughout the world, especially during COVID 2020. Results of this study showed an urgent need to equip the workforce with new skills, and that there is a demand for creativity skills. Creative roles are less at risk to automation, and that creativity is becoming even more important in the future of our economies. The study also showed that we need to help shape education systems and make stronger links between education, industry, and government. And that the future of education needs to align with the future of the workplace. The past 2 years of COVID-related restrictions, lockdowns, working from home, homeschooling have taught us that the future is very unpredictable. And as educators, we have been really challenged about how relevant our traditional curriculum is in this ever-changing world. One thing is very clear. encouraging skills like problem solving and creativity have to be a priority to help prepare students for whatever is to come. Where would we be today if it wasn't for the creativity of people like Professor Andy Pollard and Professor Sarah Gilbert from Oxford University, who developed what became the AstraZeneca vaccine? Where would we be today without the creativity of scientists who run BioNTech and Pfizer? These scientists are literally saving humanity on a mass scale, and we owe them a debt of endless gratitude for their problem solving and their creativity. Whoever said that creativity is just about the arts, that creativity has little relevance in maths and science in the real world? Sir Ken Robinson would often rebuke this myth about creativity in his writings and in his presentations, when he argued that creativity is possible in all areas of human life, in science, the arts, mathematics, technology, cuisine, teaching, politics, business, you name it.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Well, there you go, Erin. That was actually a part of the summit that we did at EduTech. And I'll throw in another link later on so you can get some more information about that. But if you do go to the newsletter for this year, or if you go to timkitchen.net, you can get the full session, the full seminar that was recorded, and find out more about what we produced at EduTech last year.
Fantastic.
If you're on Facebook and you're not already a member of the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group, please join via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL.
This is a great way to keep regularly involved with Adobe in education and the wider community.
Our next Inject Creativity Live event will be on Wednesday, the 8th of September at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Our AEL presenter will be the very talented Adobe education leader Mark Christie from the Northern Territory Department of Education, as well as AEL Juliet Bentley, who'll be our thought leader.
Who's also very talented as well. Just
yes.
making sure, because she's watching this live, so I have to make sure I mention that. For those watching the recording of this episode, join us live if you can in the future. It's always much more fun and interactive when you're with us live.
For those watching live, get ready to move into bluejeans.com/kitchen.adobe for our brief fireside chat, and we will see you at the next episode.
Special thank you to Jerry and Erin for helping to put this show together, and also a thank you to Freddie Clark, Course Development and Operations Manager at EdgeGain, for making sure this show looks amazing on YouTube.
Special thank you to Joel Ahrens for his contributions to this episode. See you next time.
Oh, I better cue up the ending. Often forget about that. Here it comes. See you guys.
Well, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Inject Creativity Live. For those who are watching live, join us via bluejeans.com/kitchen.adobe for an informal, non-recorded fireside chat to meet and interact with our presenters, as well as complete the feedback form and apply for a professional development certificate. If you are not watching this live, join us live next time. Use this QR code or link to find out more about dates and topics. On behalf of Dr. Kitchen and Erin Raethke, don't forget to keep being creative.